Hi, this is Cynthia. This video is going to illustrate how you can use PowerPoint to make flipbooks. At our last Calculus for Kids class, Khalid and Shelley talked about how you can use flipbooks to illustrate simple calculus concepts for young children. So I wanted to try that out. But my kids are 5 and 7 and they're a little squirrely. I didn't think they were really going to stick with it to draw all the little pictures for a traditional flipbook that would be written on, say, a stack of sticky notes. So I decided to use PowerPoint so that we could play with these concepts. So first I'm going to show you 4 examples of little PowerPoint flipbooks that we made, and then I'll show you how easy it is to make this sort of thing on PowerPoint in just a few minutes. All right, so this video is about how to make flipbooks with PowerPoint. So here's the first example. I'm going to go into presentation mode, and as I page through my little presentation, you can see that the ball appears to move. So I was able to make this animated ball pretty easily. And then my son took it over and he blew it up. So you can see the hand of a 7-year-old boy on this one. Okay. So here's another example that I worked on with my daughter. We garden in our house, so we talk a lot about plants. And so we made a little seed that pops open and it begins to grow. The flower bud forms. And we played with changing colors, not just changing size and shape. And then my daughter requested a beautiful butterfly to come visit the flower. So that's that one. And like I said, I did this with my 5-year-old daughter and it didn't take long. And she could do a lot of it too. Okay. Then we talked about how shapes grow in class, and how if you pay attention, you can see the little bits that can get added together to make a shape. And that relates to calculus because we talked about how taking little pieces and putting them back together is basically like integrating. So the nice thing about PowerPoint is that PowerPoint has all these built-in geometric shapes, and it's even got a little control dot on some of them so that you can go ahead and grow them right inside PowerPoint just by pulling on the dot. So that's what I did for the shapes on the top. And you can see that the orange circle gets built with little wedges, and the purple donut gets built with little sections. And you can drag on this S shape, or you can cut and paste little shapes like these green sort of triangle checkerboard bits. And eventually you end up growing shapes. Okay, and perhaps I should illustrate that if you go back and forth and watch them, you can really sort of see how the little bits get added on in different ways to make them grow. So I think just playing back and forth with these flipbook movies helps you sort of see the change happen. Okay, and finally, with all this talk about things growing, we did something kind of silly just for fun. We found this guy on the internet, and it was pretty easy to make his beard grow. So that was fun. Okay, so I'll show you just really quick how easy it is to do this. So here we have a blank PowerPoint slide. I'm going to go up to the Insert menu, and look here, there are all these wonderful shapes. So let's just start with an oval. You can drag it around and make different shaped ovals, or if you hold down the Shift key, you have a nice circle. But let's replicate my little flower. So here's an oval. I can go up here and make it brown. Okay, and now I'm going to do, you see this ribbon on the left, I'm going to make sure I've clicked that slide and I'm going to duplicate it. And if you know your hotkeys, duplicate is just Control D. So now I have the exact same thing over here. Now, why don't we make the seed split open? I'm going to copy and paste and tilt it a bit. And all of a sudden we have an open seed. I'm going to go back to the ribbon, duplicate, and there we have it. Now, back here, I'm going to copy, paste, point my guy straight up, and let's maybe make it a little skinnier. So I'm going to do this entire animation with nothing but ovals for you. And then I can go to arrange and send it to the back and make it green. Now let's add the next slide. I go back to the ribbon, Control D, come over here, and this is the part it's so easy for kids to do. They can make things grow by dragging on the little points on the box. Back to the ribbon, Control D, make it grow some more. Back to the ribbon, Control D. So pretty quickly, you can make something grow. Okay, and now maybe we're ready for the flower bud to begin to appear. So we'll add it like this, Control D, make it a little bigger. Back to the ribbon, Control D. Now maybe we're going to have the little flower bud start to grow. Send to back, make the flower about purple. Back to the ribbon, Control D. Have the flower grow, back to the ribbon, Control D. Ta-da! All right, so now you've built up your little growing flower. And if you go into presentation mode, now you can use the arrow keys and page through it. And there we go. Now let's say you want to just have something move around. And perhaps, you know, all these dots aren't interesting enough for your kid. Your kid likes unicorns. So, unicorn. Let's look for one unicorn and get a, oh, how cute is that? Remember, this is for education, so it's okay. And we'll take our unicorn picture and paste it in and maybe make it a little better of a size. All right, so here's our unicorn. We go to the ribbon, we Control D, and then we can scooch our unicorn. So simply translating, in other words, moving sideways across the page, is as simple as copying the slide, clicking, and dragging. Just make sure you go back to the ribbon to duplicate the slide. And there goes our unicorn. All right, so now if we go into presentation mode, we can watch our unicorn move across the page. Okay, and I'll show you one more thing. Get rid of those. Let's look at the interesting geometric shapes that they have. So some of these, for example, this has a control dot on it. So you can actually just watch it grow like this, can't you? But if you want to make a movie, you could make it a much more interesting color. Control D, and then grab that yellow control dot. D, and grab the yellow control dot. Control D. Ta-da. And then when we go to presentation mode, we can watch our shape grow. Okay, so that's a little primer on how you can use PowerPoint to quickly and easily make these flipbooks and look at how things change, move, and grow for talking about calculus with kids.